Hey church, as promised, we're going to be putting stuff on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. And so today we're looking at Psalm chapter 1. We're going to take the first 3 verses and just break them down. So let's just read the first 3 verses to start with. And it says, "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth its fruit in its season, whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper." So verse 1 simply says, blessed is the man who doesn't walk in the counsel of the ungodly. Blessed is the man who doesn't walk in the counsel of the ungodly. At the same time, church, I just want to say to you, you've got to train your mind to hear what God is whispering and not what the enemy may be shouting. Okay? And I say that because there's a whole lot of shouting going on around this world. There's one word being mentioned, and it's fear, fear, fear. And actually, you've got to train your mind to hear what God's whispering, not what the enemy may be shouting. How do you hear what God's whispering? You've got to get into the secret place, church. Get into the secret place. Look, there's no distractions around you right now. So you can just crack straight on. You can find time. You can chisel it out of your day to get into your word and get into the secret place. We'll come out of this stronger. Trust me, we're going to come out of this much stronger as a church. Anyway, and it says, nor stands in the path of sinners. So when it talks about nor stand in the path of sinners, remember the Bible says, bad company corrupts good character. So what you put yourself around, it's going to rub off. If you hang about wise people, you become wise. I remember working in all the schools before, and I used to say to the kids, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. It's very simple. So you have to be wise in what you do in these times. Where it says about nor sitting in the seat of the scornful. You know, people, the scornful, what does it mean? It means like those mocking, looking down on people, making fun. Like, he's giving advice here. He's saying, look, don't take counsel from the ungodly. Don't stand in the path of sinners. And don't sit in the place where they're just mocking and they're scornful. Like, that's not where I want you to be. God's saying, don't do that. Don't be that one. Don't be in that place. But verse 2, he says, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. His delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. So he's saying a blessed man delights in the law of the Lord. A blessed man meditates on it day and night. Very, very simple. And so there's a few verses that I wanted to read out to you. Just from Psalm 119, verse 35. Again, this one says, make me walk in the path of your commandments, for I delight in it. Make me walk in the path of your commandments, for I delight in it. Verse 47 again says, and I will delight myself in your commandments, which I love. I will delight myself in your commandments, which I love. Verse 92, all in Psalm 119. Like, we could do this for hours. Not going to do that for hours, because then it wouldn't be called LBC Bitesize. It would be like much bigger. Anyway, verse 92, it says, unless your law has been my delight, I would have perished in my affliction. And I'm just saying, like, you're going to come through this time, and I'm going to lean on the word of God probably even more. I'm going to lean into God even more. We spoke on Sunday about, being in the boat. And if Jesus is in the boat, I want to be in that boat. If he's not in the boat, I don't really want to be in that boat. Exodus 33 says, Moses said, I'm not going unless your presence goes first. Like, he wasn't after the promise. He was after the presence of God first. The promises of God are yes and amen. They will flow. But we want the presence of God. In this time, run after his presence. Now, obviously, church, I'm talking to you because I want to strengthen you. I want you to go further. I want you to come out of this place and you've gone even further in your faith. Why? Because Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and there's no other way. No other way. Anyway, it then says, and in his law he meditates day and night. So Psalm 1, verse 1 and 2, and 3. This is verse 2 now. He says, and then he meditates day and night. If I was to jump into Psalm 119, verse 97, I will see it says, oh, how I love your law. It's my meditation all the day. I know that we're told to meditate day and night. Day and night. Like feel yourself. Get up in the morning. Read the Word of God. Before you go to bed, read the Word of God. Spend time with Him. He's the way, He's the truth, and He's the life, and there's no other way. Joshua. Oh, what a great book Joshua is. Joshua 1 verse 8. It says, this book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate it day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written in it. For then you will make your ways prosperous, and then you will have good success. Like, stay close to God, meditate in His Word day and night. It's so simple, this psalm is such a simple psalm, but I thought it's a great foundation to start us moving in this timeline. Blessed is the man who doesn't walk in the counsel of the ungodly. Blessed is the man who reads the Word day and night. Like, blessed is the man who doesn't walk in the counsel of the ungodly. Like, if you walk in that counsel, you go and seek your advice from half-cut Dave down the pub, well, you're not going to be a blessed person if you take all of his advice. Like, would you take the advice of someone that, isn't in their right mind at a time? Imagine when you've been drunk in the past, obviously before you knew Jesus, because it'd be wrong now if you're getting drunk and you know Jesus. But imagine, would you have been given brilliant advice out when you was half cut? Well, the answer is no. It would have been mixed up advice. Like, blessed is the man who doesn't walk in the counsel of the ungodly, and blessed is the man who meditates on the book, on the good book, who meditates on his law day and night. And verse 3, he says, he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth its fruit in its season, whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. Like, again, it's such a simple analogy of, like, if you read the Word, if you get stuck into God, what will happen is you'll be like a tree by water. Well, what's that about? Well, water's the source of life. Water makes the grass green. Water makes the flowers grow. Water brings life to the trees. Water brings fruit to the trees. You read the Word day and night. You meditate. You stay close to God. You get into your secret place. You're going to be like a tree that's going to bear much fruit. You're going to be a tree that bears much fruit. A very simple analogy, but so true. I remember when I first gave my life to God, and obviously my testimony is one of very much being drug dependent, then finding Jesus, that coming away from me eventually after a few slip-ups here and there, but that coming away from me. And what happened was I asked God to give me an addiction to His Word. And so this new addiction took over me, and I started to read the Bible day and night. I fed myself. So now when you look at me, the fruit that I produce will be totally different than the fruit that I used to produce. A good tree can't bear bad fruit, and a bad tree can't bear good fruit. Again, it's a very simple analogy, but it's so true. Get into the Word of God. Get close to Him, and you shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth its fruit in season, whose leaf shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. If you do verse 2, and verse 2 was simply meditate day and night. Verse 2 was simply get into the Word. Get into the secret place. Spend time with God. Chisel out time in your day. If you do verse 2, verse 3 will be your fruit. Verse 3 will be what happens, what comes from it. Do verse 1. Don't take counsel from the ungodly. Don't take counsel from the ungodly. Not my words, Bible's words, but I agree with you. Blessed is the man who doesn't walk in the counsel of the ungodly. Verse 2, read your Word, get into the secret place. Verse 3, you shall be like a tree planted by living water. It's going to bring much fruit. Church, it's very simple. Get into the Word of God. Stay close to God. You're going to bear much fruit. Be careful the advice that you listen to. Be careful, church, about what you're hearing. And when I say that, I mean it in the kind of sense of the quote that I said earlier, train your mind to hear what God whispering or what God is whispering rather than what the enemy may be shouting. How are you going to do that? You're going to do that if you get into the secret place. You're going to do that if you open up the Word of God. You're going to be able to hear what God is saying and not what the world around you is screaming and shouting. Church, we're going to come out of this time, I promise you, much stronger. I don't know if we'll have more numerically or less numerically. That's not, here or there. But we're going to come out stronger in this time. I pray that many people will find Jesus in this time because He is the way, He is the truth, He is the life. And so, church, stay blessed, stay safe. Remember, as I said before, if you need anything, be in touch with your home group leaders, be in touch with me and Helen. We're in it together. I remember many things that we've gone through as a church, and each time we go through tough times, we come out stronger. Remember 2019? There's another in the fire. Well, He's in the fire again with us. Be blessed, church. Love to you all.